Bidaki api, chante washte na pe chizapalo, James Rowling, Fimachapi na chichangu lakoto yate. Good day, good morning, good afternoon. I come from the Black Hills of South Dakota. My name is James Rowlingleaf. I'm from the Rosebud Sioux tribe, and happy to provide this video for your class on climate change. Again, as Emily mentioned, she asked me to kind of speak to you about sort of my experiences working in climate change, and in particular from American Indian perspective. I've been working on climate change for the past 20 years, working in education, working in research, working in training, working in areas where you're always educating tribal communities about the issues of climate change, but also working with government agencies and scientists and understanding how they best work with us as Indian people so that the work that we do is respectful to our cultures and it advances our communities in terms of economics, education, and well-being. The issue of climate change, again, is to the forefront of our society today. COVID-19, again, is an example, I think, of how interdependent we are as a world today. I'm coming to you through a video that will be posted on YouTube through the internet and produced by my phone in South Dakota, where I'll be reaching you, through the internet. And so things have changed in my lifetime. And so we have these new tools, what they call them platforms, where we can communicate, where we can share information, we can share data, we could see and learn from other people, and we can, make decisions across this new platform. And so in your generation, this generation today, you've grown up with this. It's become part of your life and how you do work, how you do business. And so in some ways, you might have an advantage to connect with other Indigenous students, other people around the world, your families, your elders, your uncles, your grandmas, your grandpas, so that you can stay together in a way. You can learn and help each other in a way. And climate change is going to require that. It's a very difficult, complex issue. It affects all of us, though. And we all need to figure out how to work together. So you're going to have to develop these kind of skills, these intercultural skills to work within your own community, with own different tribes, and with the mainstream people in America, if you decide, or if you want to work around the world, which I get to do that now. And so I'm learning how to work with different cultures around the world, around climate change, around knowledge, around science, and around data. So I would encourage you to continue to think about yourself as a global citizen, even though you come from a tribe, you come from a reservation, you come from a community. Think broadly, think deep, think about how your education is going to prepare you, for your career. Sometimes I think we think about, careers in terms of jobs. I would say think of it in terms of, your passion, things that you care about. And as tribal people, we have a great responsibility to the earth. Our ceremonies, our practices, our life ways, teach us that we have a responsibility to take care of what we call Mother Earth, or Unchi Maka. So you're at your time now in this class, your time now as a young person, begin to think about, where you want to go. I heard that in today's Generation Z, those people under the age of 22, there's a illiteracy in terms of information technology, and I would say if that is true, then I think we need to come together and figure out how we address that. If there's a literacy problem in our Generation Z, then we need to think about how we can address that and how we can improve that. I think also that this idea of traditional knowledge is important, and I think that we still have that, even though the challenges of assimilation, the challenges of modernization have impacted our understanding, our use of our traditional knowledges. What I mean by that is kind of how we use our language, our Lakota language, our ceremonies, our understanding of the world, and how we work with the world, how we work with the four-leggeds, the flying beings, and things like that, has been impacted by modernization. But in 2020, I think we have an opportunity here now to go back and to learn and to work with our elders and our wisdom keepers to take that knowledge, but also understand the responsibility, how to practice, how to use that knowledge. Now we know that we have a Western way of understanding the world, and we have a traditional Indian way of understanding the world. Those two things are in parallel, I'd say. And so what we need to do is create a space between those two knowledge systems. That space is where we can come together as scientists and Indian people to understand, to know each other, so that we can work together more effectively. That's what I'm all about, is how we work more effectively together. We know we're different. We know we see the world differently. But I think these great global challenges like pandemics, like climate change, are going to challenge us to put away some of our biases, some of our prejudices, some of our racial issues that we had in the past, and to come together and come up with a strategy that we all can agree on to go forward. So take this opportunity this summer, learn from Emily and others about climate, how that works, but also understand there's another way of learning about climate, and that's the Indian way. So pursue that as well. And I would be curious and anxious to hear, how your journey goes. But think of this as a journey. It's a part of a journey, part of a pathway that you're pursuing, that you want to become a full, mature human being. That's your destination, is to be a human being or a mature human being. And your time now is preparing you to do that. So take on the challenge, learn the best you can. When you have struggles, when you have challenges, when you have setbacks, that's part of life. And so what you need to do is keep going, not to let that stop you, but keep going. And to somebody said the barriers, you have these barriers in front of you. Well, it's not the barriers it's the issue. It's how you overcome it. So the barrier becomes the way. And so as I conclude here, I sort of wanted to say this to you, is I brought an eagle feather that was given to me by an elder many years ago. I'm an older man now, but many years ago when I was in college. And he gave this to me at a event that I was honored at. And again, in our traditions, eagle feathers or wiyakas are indication or a sign or a thing of accomplishment. So he gave this to me to encourage me to keep going. He understood that life is hard as an Indian person, that you'll face great challenges, but also he said that you have your ancestors behind you, you have your family behind you, and they want good things for you. So just like that, I also want good things for you. And so I just present this eagle feather to you this way to let you know that our traditions are good. There's a lot of value in our traditions and our ways. Keep practicing those life ways, and you will be successful. So I just want to say thank you for listening. We say Wopila Tanka Ichichiapolo. Thank you for listening. And we also say Mitakuya Oyasi, all my relations. Take care and have a great summer.